Good afternoon. Welcome to our coverage of Day 6 of World Basket 98, the 13th World Championship of Basketball. Today, the battle for the quarterfinals places hots up, and the Australian Boomers are making their charge. After losing their first two group games, the Boomers have beaten Nigeria and Lithuania for a 2-2 record. Every game is a virtual knockout for the Australians. Today, they confront Brazil in a second-round group match. Joining me in the studio are four-time Olympian and former Boomer legend Ray Borner, now captain of the Canberra Cannons. Ray, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Carl.
And the Australian Opals coach, Tom Maher. Of course, his team are winners of Olympic and world titles, bronze medals. Tom, thanks for coming along.
Good afternoon.
Okay, we're over the hump beating Lithuania. That would be seen to undo the damage that occurred when we lost to Argentina in that shock result in the first group.
If they beat Brazil.
If they beat Brazil. So it's that tight, Ray. It's a do-or-die situation now. Even though these are group games, we must win each one.
Yeah, certainly with the ladder the way it is, every game is vitally important. The Australian team is needing to get this win just to climb up that ladder again.
Let's just check where we do stand on the Group F table. As you'll recall, the top three teams from each of four groups progressed into two pools of 6. This is how Australia comes into Day 6 with 2-2. Still needing to get into the top 4 to guarantee themselves of a quarter-final berth. And I guess, Tom, the danger here is even finishing 4th means you play the top team from the other pool. So you really want to try and get above 4th position, don't you?
You do, and that's how you plan your tournaments. But I would say that at this tournament, because of the evenness of the competition, it's not as such a big deal strategically to get a high quarter-final ranking.
So just to run through there, Spain, of course, undefeated in that group. Lithuania suffered their first defeat to the Boomers yesterday. In the other side of the draw, this is where Australia will cross over to play a quarter-final opponent in Group E. Still two undefeated teams, Greece and Yugoslavia and Russia. That is a pretty tough group, the way it's shaping up, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, who's the cheapie there? Do you want to play the Greeks at home? I mean, no, you don't. Yugoslavia are big and strong, and so are Russia. I mean, silly saying that Italy seemed to be the easy draw there, but no, there's no easy game there.
Okay, that is the group standing. We'll see how Day 6 unfolds. And there may have been many virtuoso performances in the illustrious career of Andrew Gaze, but few better than yesterday's demolition of Lithuania. A magical run of 10 points and a game-high total of 24 took the Boomers to victory. Phil Lynch was on the spot for this interview.
Andrew, you've got to feel a whole lot better going into Brazil after knocking Lithuania over the way you did.
Yeah, certainly to beat Lithuania after they were undefeated throughout the tournament and playing very, very well. I think it's an indication that, perhaps we're back on track, and we've given ourselves a chance now, and hopefully we can make the most of that. And if we beat Brazil, then we'll be a very good chance to make the quarterfinals.
I think in a couple of days' time, we're looking back at the second half against Lithuania and saying, was that the turning point?
I hope so. I don't think it was just the second half. I think that we came out and started the game very, very strong. I think it was just a better atmosphere, something about us that we just felt a lot more comfortable with them. I think the fact that we played them a couple of years ago 5 times in Australia, we played them in Atlanta, we played them in the Goodwill Games, I think the familiarity that we have with them really helped us out psychologically.
Was that it, or can you put your finger on something that changed in that particular game?
I think bottom line is the bottom line is that the shots go in. That makes a hell of a lot of difference. In the first 2 games against Argentina and Spain, I don't think we necessarily played particularly badly. I think defensively we've been solid, but we just haven't been able to knock down some shots that we normally hit. Tonight, particularly down the stretch, we were able to hit some, but even throughout the game, there was just a better feel, like we knew where the ball was going. We just had a better read on the situation.
That's it, isn't it, though? You're getting better looks there tonight. I mean, some of the shots you're taking in earlier games, a bit under pressure and perhaps not the shots you really wanted.
Yeah, I think that comes with a bit of anxiety. Coming into a tournament like this, a lot of expectations, doing well at the Goodwill Games, it brings about an expectation amongst yourself, and sometimes you put more pressure on yourself than really is necessary. And really the theme over the last couple of days is just to get out there and have fun and enjoy ourselves. That's what we've tried to do, trying to alleviate some of that pressure that we sometimes put on yourself.
You're talking about familiarity with Lithuania. What about familiarity with Brazil? It's a team that you haven't played before. I mean, they've always had Oscar before. Yep. A different focus now.
It is a different look, but the coach and what they try to do offensively is very similar. I think that they like to play an up-tempo style of game which suits us. So know, it's a huge game, and we always seem to be playing Brazil in major tournaments, and the significance of the game, there's always a lot riding on it. And definitely tonight, there's no question about that it's going to be a very important game. But, you know, we had success against them in Atlanta, where we beat them in double overtime. And we've had, in recent international competition, we've had good results against them. So hopefully a few of the older guys anyway can remember that, and we can carry that confidence into the game.
Andrew Gay certainly bubbling along now, so he's cast off all the cobwebs from early in the tournament. Let's look for a big game from him against Brazil. Now, among a number of Boomers making their World Championship debut is 23-year-old Ben Melmoth, the forward of the Newcastle Falcons. Let's find out more in our player profile.
My name is Ben Melmoth, and my teammates call me Bigler. I was born in Newcastle, Australia. I'm 211 centimetres, or 6'10" in the old scale. I started playing basketball in Newcastle 1985 or 86. My career highlights was definitely last year in August when the Australian under-23 team won the gold medal in the World Championship. My parents were my biggest influence in my career because they've always been supporting me every endeavour and every aspect of my basketball, whether it was leaving Australia to play in America or playing in the NBL in Australia. They've always been behind me, supporting me. My height will have to be my best basketball asset because of the fact that basketball is a big man's game, and the taller you are, the easier it gets. My childhood sporting hero was my father because he'd always have great stories to tell me about how many windows he broke when he was playing cricket in his 60s. I enjoy playing cricket, football, rugby union, squash, tennis, and volleyball.
Yes, Ben Melmoth, one of the young guns in this Boomers squad. Now, Australia and Lithuania are becoming fierce rivals on the international stage following their bronze medal playoff at the Atlanta Olympics. The boys from the Baltic won that one. The Boomers have long been working on a payback. Andrew Orsatti reports from Piraeus.
They're ready now to attack an approach to a new series, basically. You know, we went through the first 3-game series and came out 1 and 2. We're now starting it all over again, and we've got off to a great start this time.
Australia's World Championship medal aspirations start soaring once again. A timely victory over the previously unbeaten Lithuanians. However, some Australians may feel it came 2 years too late. The Boomers lost this matchup for the bronze medal at the Atlanta Olympics. What this does, it keeps their march towards a quarter-final place on track and restores confidence after 2 demoralising losses in the preliminary round.
You know, we hadn't played well all tournament, and I think today was it. Not only a confidence boost, but if we lost, we wouldn't still be in the tournament. You know, we wouldn't have a chance to even get to the final 8. So we had to win. There was no questions about that at all. And I think we sometimes play better when we have to, and our backs are against the wall, and we're the underdog.
Australia's star shooters also revel under pressure. Shane Hill has rediscovered his hot hand, posting healthy figures in the past 2 matches. Andrew Gay's leadership qualities and scoring touch have finally come to the fore. 24 points against Lithuania, a game high. His teammates are thankful the Gays of old is back.
Andrew really stepped up this game after some pretty poor performances by his standards. You know, he was pretty disappointed with the way things have been going, but he played exceptionally well tonight. And I guess the whole team just lifted, and we knew that we had to respond.
2 more victories will guarantee Australia's place in the last 8. Next up, Brazil, the 4th most successful country at the World Championships. They've won 2 titles, 2 silver medals and 2 bronze. But the South Americans haven't finished in the top 3 since 1978. Brazil hasn't been the same in recent times ever since the retirement of the legendary Oscar, a prolific scorer with some 7,000 points in over 315 matches. Pipoca has assumed Oscar's role as leader. At 35, he's their oldest player, a dynamic forward and centre with qualities of a role player. The towering Josuel is a menacing rebounder competing in his 3rd World Championships. Then there's Rogerio, considered the new Oscar, standing 2 metres, he's their top scorer. The South Americans have lost 3 out of 4 matches, another defeat, and they're heading home. Whatever the obstacle, Australia now seem better prepared than ever.
There was a taste of what we know we can do. Confidence is way up, and we're so eager to play now. You know, I really believe that we can go on and beat Brazil, and I think we can beat the USA. I really believe that we can win those next couple of games and move on to the next round.
Confidence from Scott Fisher. Of course, the mission today is Brazil. And Ray Borner, in 4 Olympics and 4 World Championships, you've bashed up against the Brazilians quite a few times. In fact, their veteran centre, Papuca, who we saw in that story, you've had a fair few clashes with him.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's wearing one of my legacies across his face. But
what's that, a flat nose?
We won't go too much into that, how we come across it. But he's certainly been a great player for them over the years. And you know, I'm sure that he's going to take a much greater role now that Oscar's not playing, you know, leading the team and trying to get some more rebounds. Historically, do you feel that Australian teams have done well against Brazilian teams at this level over the years? Yeah, certainly. When I came into the team in 1982, you know, they were the top 4 in the world, and you know, we were lucky enough to beat them down in Colombia. You know, it was one of them games that the lights went out, and the military had to put the lights on the court with their cars and stuff, and you know, we come back and won in overtime, and you know, that really set the scene for the rest of that tournament. Yeah. Tom, what sort of style will Brazil play, and how will the Boomers match up? They're a classic South American team, and they like to run, and I kind of think that'll help Australia, because Australia has lacked fast break points, and Brazil tend to want to run up, but not so great at running back, and I think that they'll give up some fast break points, and you know, I just hope that we can exploit that. Okay, stay with us as we let this first half unfold. We can now cross to the Olympic Sports Hall in Athens. Our commentators once again, Patrick Hunt and Phil Lynch.
Yes, welcome to the Olympic Stadium here in Athens, and a good contingent of Australian fans, and that starting 5 there for Brazil. There's the Australians getting ready, because that's the bench players. The starters are on the court. Scott Fisher taking his place on the bench against Chris Anstey, but imagine they'll see some court time in this particular game. And there's the starters for Brazil. Pipoca at the power forward spot, Parachu in the backcourt, Pegolo. Yoswell is the big centre, and Klafke, you'll hear us refer to as Rogerio. Rogerio is the name he's known by, but Pipoca to jump against Paul Rogers. And Pipoca wins the jump ball. Hoshui starts in the guard spot with Demetrius. That's Demetrius handling the ball, and Peel has the job on him. But a much more confident Australian team going into this game, Patrick.
Yes, Phil, and here's one of the big matchups of the night. Joshua on Paul Rogers there. Also, Rogerio, number 14 from Brazil, is one of their top scorers. And Andrew Vlahov's been given the defensive assignment on him. Andrew Vlahov, who did such a great job last night on Lithuania.
It is a big assignment. Australia using the ball here. 3-point shot from Shane Heal. He doesn't start the same way as he did last night against Lithuania, but Vlahov does give Australia another possession. And that's important. Australia did rebound well in the first half yesterday, and they got eaten alive in the second half. But more importantly, they were the ones who ran away with the score. Inside they go to Rogers, had a little push off there, probably a little lucky. Reverse layup goes down, and Rogers opens the scoring for Australia in this game that Australia goes into with a 2-2 record, and Brazil with 1-3 into the second round. So Australia must start favourite. Little pump fake there, and a shot that goes up. Pipoca tries to stick it back, but it's Josh Well who comes over and opens the scoring for Brazil. Get a turnover there by the Australians, something they obviously can't afford, but there's the coaching staff from Australia, Coach Barry Barnes near a screen, with Alan Black and Brett Brown. But the Brazilians, very different Brazil to the one we've known in the past. Brazil has always had the reputation for playing the run and gun game with not a great deal of defence. Well, they've got a new coach, and he's trying to change that situation entirely. Trying to use the ball. Here they are, they've got it down to 5 seconds now, and we're going to have a travel call as Rogers came across to help there on Shuey and forced him into the travel.
Evidence of Australia's sound defence again last night. I thought that was a great factor in Australia's favour. They were really able to stay with their game plan, and and hold the Lithuanians and frustrate them offensively. If they can do the same against Brazil, who are known to be an emotional team, who like to get into the flow of things, that's exactly what we need now.
Now it's Rogerio guarding Vlahov, so they'll play against one another. Three-point shot from Andrew Gaze. That's a little bit long, but again they run it down for a second opportunity all the way out to Hill. Three-point shot from Ronaldson, and finally it goes down. So it's 5-2 lead to Australia. It's Australia's scoring punch from the outside with Ronaldson, Heel and Gaze can all shoot the three very well. Josh Well, little fake, and then inside to Popoka for a giant dunk. So the veteran Popoka knocks one down for Brazil. And it's a scoreline that reads Australia 5, Brazil 4. Australia looking to make some stops. But now it's the Brazilian defence being called upon. Heel had a look at the three, but nothing doing there. So they've been showing a little patience in offence as well. Gaze takes his man on the inside, tries to dump it to Rogers, but cut out well by Shuey. Down the middle comes Demetrius, all the way across to Rogerio. Have a look at this fellow, number 14, because he's filling some very big shoes. I'll talk about Oscar, the man he replaced, but he's also wearing the same number singlet. The rolling hook goes up from Demetrius, and he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line as well on the foul from Paul Rogers. So Rogers with the first foul of the ball game. So a pretty timid start from both teams, I suppose, because it's taken 3 minutes and 10 seconds for the first foul. But that shot there from the free throw line ties the ball game up. Lead to Brazil. Australia want to try and put a gap in this score early. They don't want to have Brazil hang on to them the entire game. After their good win against Lithuania last night, Brazil have been struggling in the tournament a little bit. Screen to get Rogers free down the baseline, but no scoring action right there. Vlahov with a long three. That's right on the end of Andrew Vlahov's range. You don't see him shoot the three all that often. Now inside to Popoka to work against Rogers. Rolls the hook up there and in. So a 3-point lead for Brazil.
We see at the moment Brazil switching on every screen Australia's setting at the moment, and this is stopping Australia getting any sort of offensive momentum going. We can see it right there inside to Tony Ronaldson, which is good play. Underneath to Paul Rogers, who returns the dunk.
A very good ball movement there from the Aussies to get it inside to Ronaldson, and the extra pass to Rogers. So an 8-7 lead to Brazil. But right now, the Aussies will look for a stop. Rogerio, who hasn't been able to get a shot up yet, with Vlahov right in his face, makes the spin and call for the travel. As they closed on him, the help came from Ronaldson and Rogers. And timeout has been called here at the Olympic Stadium in Athens in this round 2 match, where Australia are looking to rack up points in the second round after having failed in 2 games early, beaten by Argentina and Spain. A very important game for the Australians here, and they trail it by a point. But looking at that Brazilian lineup, Patrick, you've already seen in the first few minutes they're a lot more patient team from Brazil than we've seen in the past.
Yes, normally the Brazilian teams have been full of emotion. They like to run full court. Here they're looking at going inside to their big guys, Popoka and Joshua. They play 4 out, 1 in very effectively, because on the perimeter, number 14, Rogerio, is their top scorer by far. Andrew Vlahov has done a tremendous job on him so far. 5 minutes into the game of keeping him scoreless. But Australia will need to maintain that sort of defensive intensity to keep Brazil on the back foot. Offensively, as we see, it's dunk from Paul Rogers. A good patience. He got both up in there, both Brazilians up off their feet. Another pass inside from Tony Ronaldson. Rogers fakes the 2 up and then powers up himself for a return dunk.
Yeah, good start there and good ball movement there from the Australians.
We've been able to go inside fairly easily in the early stages of this game, but Brazil's switching on all screens that we're setting, and so we'll need to create some opportunities for the screener, or look for those who are look for some mismatches underneath, particularly if there's a smaller player switches onto one of our bigger players. See if we can exploit that next time down the floor in offense, and see if Brazil continue to do that.
So the Brazilians slow back on floor, but Tony Ronaldson will get things going for Australia. They've come up with a couple of good stops, forced Brazil into trouble. Let's see if they can capitalise at the other end. Australia staying with the same lineup. Brazil have not made the change either. The way the timeouts are being called in this World Championship, with plenty of timeouts available, players get less tired. In good lob pass from Rogers into Ronaldson, and I think an Australian hand from Blahok tipped that out. Blahok went to put a lid on it, and I think he tipped it out when it was going to fall. So an opportunity missed there for the Aussies. Pipoka out to set the screens. Return pass from Josh Well. Pipoka working against Ronaldson. Double team there from Blahok. Really freed the ball up. And they've got a 4-on-3 if they can take advantage here. But Gaze will stop and pop for 3. Rogers grabs the rebound, gets it up and down it goes. And Rogers, what a bright opening for him. 6 points out of the first 9 for Australia, and he's on the free throw line as well. And the foul is not against Josh Well, it is on Rogerio. But the idea from Gaze there was good, because he waited for rebounds to come. If he missed the shot, he did, and Rogers was there to make up the 3-point play.
Great double team to get Australia that possession down low. See if Brazil run this screen and roll play from the top, which they ran last time, to get Pipoka free inside down low. No, they're just swinging the wings now, and we see number 12, Josh Well, go to work.
All the way it goes across to Shuey. Shuey hits from the outside for 3 for Brazil. Not a great 3-point shooting team, but they connected on that one. 11 points to 10, Brazil leads it. Blahok, lob pass on the inside again. Australia's using to good effect, but Ronaldson not able to finish it off, and Pipoka grabs the rebound to send Demetrius away. Penetration straight away, flicks it on the inside to Shuey, the reverse lay-in, and Brazil kick out by 3, 13 points to 10.
That's more of the Brazil of the old that we used to, Phil, the running game.
So Australia looking to try and run it themselves that time, turned it over and gave the run back to Brazil. Now Gaze with the spin on his man. Rogers looking for the short-range jumper, just can't control the ball, and dumping on the inside to Ronaldson. Return to Blahok, they just had too many numbers there. So it was a broken play that they handled well.
I think Brazil might be in what's called a diamond and 2 defence on Shane Heal and Andrew Gaze at the moment. 3 of their big guys are zoning inside, and 2 are defending Shane and Andrew man-to-man. We'll check that out next time down.
A long 3-point shot there. Rebound almost grabbed by Rogers. It falls to Ronaldson. Again, they've got numbers down the floor. Inside they go to Blahok. The little turnaround, can't stick the little short-range jumper. Under pressure, falling away. Brazil with a 1-point lead. On the inside they go. And Pipoka with an easy dunk. So again, the problems on the boards continue. And I looked at the rebounding stats for Brazil going into this game, and they haven't been a great rebounding team, but they're showing the Australians up here. Thrown out of bounds by Gaze as he looked for Heal in the corner. 15 to plays 12, and Coach Barnes would not be happy with the kind of start Australia's made here. Just a little bit loose. They finished off well last night against Lithuania, but they won't want to let Brazil stay too close in this game.
This is a screen and roll play they play to get the big guys inside, and it's worked to good effect every time they've run it so far.
Again, Pipoka grabbing plenty of ball on the inside. The foul goes against Tony Ronaldson, and Pipoka will go to the line to shoot a pair.
So what they're doing, Phil, is as we see Pipoka power up inside here, Brazil will run a screen and roll play on the side, a screen on the ball, with one of the smaller players, and number 12, Joshua Well. He'll roll, and then number 7, Pipoka will come to the foul line. If there's any help at all down there from his player, he just steps underneath to get the rebounds or the pass underneath. And we've seen him do that 3 times now, and a couple of dunks and now a pair of free throws.
He's got 6 rebounds in 7 minutes 20, or 7 minutes 40, Pipoka. Terrific start to go with his 7 points. He's a veteran on this team. He wasn't going to play here in Atlanta, but the coach talked him into playing. He's part of the old brigade, most of whom have retired, including Oscar, Marcel, Maori and Israel. But Pipoka is here to hold this team together. 17 plays 12, the biggest lead of the game for Brazil. 3-point shot from Ronaldson, and way off the iron it goes. Flicked back by Gaze to Ronaldson across the heel. Short-range jumper from Andrew Vlahoff. That's a good spot from Vlahoff to shoot it.
Brazil are definitely in a box and one, or a triangle and two, Phil, against Shane Heal and Andrew Gaze, while three of the big guys are zoning in the middle.
Rogerio tried the three. He hasn't got too many shots off in this game. In fact, that may be just his first shot of the ball game. It is. It's been taken 8.5 minutes to get. So a good job being done by Andrew Vlahoff to stop the shooter. Timeout's called here again at the Olympic Stadium in Athens as Brazil lead it by 17 points to 14. And, well, Rogerio very quiet out there, but the problem has come in the interior, hasn't it?
Yes, well, our defence has done well to allow them to, not to allow them, rather, to get into transition. I think they've scored one fast break basket this half, but we're having problems blocking out on the inside. If we're forced to rotate on the bigger guys and help, Brazil have positioned their players pretty well. One at the foul line. If his man helps, he just goes to the basket. So if there's a shot taken, he's got pretty good rebounding opportunities from the weak side. Offensively, we're able to get some stuff inside and outside, but at the moment, I think most of our problems are down the defensive end.
Perhaps they're paying just a little bit too much respect. Paul Rogers perhaps playing Josh Well just a little bit too much respect and trying to help too often. Because Josh Well is one of those players who doesn't look to score too much. Pipoka will. And so Paul Rogers leaving his man a good deal to come across and help. And Tony Ronaldson doing a little bit of the same has left Pipoka open.
We'll see if they can make some adjustments. See what adjustments Australia make against this this triangle and two. It's a very unusual defence, but sometimes you have two outstanding scorers. They'll have two people play man-to-man and three people stay inside the middle of the key. And that's opened up some scoring opportunities for us inside.
Julio Rubens Garcia, who took over in Atlanta, or after the Atlanta campaign for Brazil, very much a defence-oriented coach. Something unheard of in Brazilian basketball. But it's Australia with the ball and trailing by 3. Heal. Gaze, the two backcourt players, haven't had many scoring opportunities so far. As the opportunities have opened underneath, have been a few lob passes on the inside to Ronaldson.
They've gone back to straight man-to-man now, Phil.
A little hook shot there from Paul Rogers, almost lost there. In fact, Gaze it is who gets the loose ball. 3-point shot from Shane Heal. 17 points apiece. Shane Heal's first scoring opportunity, and down it goes. But they've left it open along the baseline for Rogerio. Only his second shot of the ball game. He beat Andrew Vlahoff along the baseline, and the help defense wasn't there. So maybe there's been some talk during the timeout about just sticking to your man a little bit more. Tony Ronaldson pulls it up and scores it. Point for point, 19 points apiece. Almost at the halfway mark of the first half. Both teams staying with their starters at the moment. Demetrius.
To screen and roll now to get the number 12 inside, Joshua. There he goes, he's still in there.
Rogerio.
Another screen and roll to get Pipoka inside. He flares out this time.
All the way across to Shuey. Gaze up in his face. It's Demetrius, and Rogers grabs the rebound this time for Australia. So they've got to stop. And a chance here to take the lead again. Neither team has gone for a sub yet in the opening 10 minutes. Which coach is going to be the first to dig into his bench? Vlahoff gets the drive to the baseline and opens up for Ronaldson. Almost the three from Ronaldson. Just got two pieces of the iron and fell out. Shuey, Demetrius, Rogerio pulls it up and dumps it outside to Shuey again. Good ball movement from Brazil, but they can't find a shooter.
Good recovery from Australia, keeping the hand pressure on. Here we go, the back-in move.
And they've turned it over by passing it back over half court.
And that time, Phil, as we were discussing earlier, Paul Rogers stayed with Pipoka, didn't help down as much, forced Joshua to make a pass and turned it over, and Australia got a possession out of that. A good adjustment defensively from the Australians.
And Australia's made that substitution. Vlahoff has come out and Sam McKinnon has gone in.
And Sam now takes over the role of trying to hang on to Rogerio.
The Brazilians won't have seen too much of McKinnon, although He did play in Atlanta but didn't get a lot of minutes. He's played a very good role in this tournament so far. There's been a holding foul. I think it's gone against Rogerio. Wait for the referee's call. It has, holding on to Tony Ronaldson. So not too many fouls being called in this game either, just 2 apiece. There's McKinnon with his first touch, and now on to Gaze. Dumping low to Ronaldson. Looked for the little jump hook, but they jerked it clear of him. Shot goes up, and down it goes from Shuey. You see the name up there, Pagolo? Well, a lot of the Brazilians have other names other than those that have been given to them, and Shuey is the one we've been given. Ronaldson trying to find Rogers on the inside again. Gaze backing it up. The defence of Josh Well to face. Can he take a one-on-one against Josh Well? He can take the big centre on, surely. Goes across to McKinnon. Australia using the clock up and finally have to hurry a big three-pointer. Probably a little bit too much of a hurry because still had 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Down the middle and looked like a foul there. The crowd roaring for a foul. Australia got a good break there. Now Gaze, can they take advantage of the good piece of fortune? Heel. Rogerio stops him. Gaze, long three-pointer coming? No. McKinnon, short range 2. Hard off the back of the iron, and away comes Rogerio for Brazil. Heel holding his space, and all he does is give it away, but then Ronaldson throws it out of bounds.
Well, possession's like gold in these tight games, and Australia want to make better use of that. They were trying to get the ball out quickly, good intentions.
Brazil with the 2-point break. Demetrius, 21 plays 19. 8 minutes to go in the first half. And that will be an Australian ball. Another sub coming for the Aussies with Fisher coming in and taking out Ronaldson. But we're going to have a timeout first. So Australia trailing it by 2 at the moment. You saw them make defensive adjustments on that last time down. Well, the defence was fine, but offensively it's just started to bog down a little.
I think, again, we've seen the Australian teams get out to a fairly good scoring start early in the games and not be able to continue that on. They've started a little more slowly and ground away here. But Andrew Gaze isn't seeing too much action in the offense at the moment. He hasn't been able to get any points on the board, but I think Brazil are either playing man-to-man defense and switching, playing either a box and 1 or a triangle and 2 defense, and this isn't allowing Australia to get into any sort of offensive rhythm at all. They're also doing a really good job of packing it in inside the key. Early on we were able to exploit that and get some openings, but at the moment we haven't been able to get either area free.
Interesting there, the referee, in fact, and I think that is the Puerto Rican referee, perhaps?
No, it's the referee from Greece.
That's the one from Greece. The Grecian referee, the problem with his knee and just getting a little bit of treatment. It's not often you see that in a game, but of course the referees are out there doing the work as well, and just as liable to injury as the players. But Coach Helio Rubens Garcia from Brazil, who won the Brazilian Championship in the last season with his team from Franca, showing a completely different looking Brazil from the one we've seen over many years in this game. Very patient, whereas it used to be the old Brazil, get the ball into the hands of Oscar and he would shoot the ball. It's fairly simple sort of an offense they played.
He only shot a 55% career lifetime. That wasn't too bad, was it?
And still, at age 40, shooting them up in the Brazilian competition at the rate of about 50 a game.
Andrew Gaze flattened there on a baseline cut by Shuey.
Just the 3rd foul against the team, Brazil, only 2 against Australia. Fisher looking to set the screen to open up McKinnon. McKinnon drives to the basket, but nothing there for him. Heel, Rogers, quick shift to the ball back to Fisher, but no Australian looking at the basket at the moment. Fisher finally has to whack a shot up there. It was a very poorly thought out shot in the end, and gives a chance to Brazil here to score it, lay it up at the other end. So again, that Australian offense on the breakdown has been a real problem.
The player defending Shane Heel, Demetrius, has done a really good job, as we see Shane being able to penetrate that a little.
Now Josh Well, as Fisher rolls to the basket on the turnaround and makes it. That's a better shot from Scott Fisher.
It's as if Brazil are challenging us to go inside at times, Phil, and make the shot. I think we have to continue to do that. Pipoka with that running hook
from Pipoka. It was an easy rebound in the end for Paul Rogers. So Australia trail it by 2 inside 7 minutes to go in the first half. Gaze, the screen from Fisher, see if they can get him rolling in the basket, but he's held there. And held by Shuey. Held by both arms.
See if they switch this. See, there's another switch. We should, yes, there it is. Well done.
And a travel in the end from Fisher, who had to fumble for that ball. It was a good quick pass from Rogers, but it was down around his knees. He just fumbled for it and shifted his feet.
Paul Rogers going down the middle on that switch, Phil. A good adjustment to the switch.
Pipoka, as they look low, but finally go to Josh Well to work against Rogers. And finally, Josh Well makes the hook shot. He's 2 of 3 for 4 points. So the Brazilians getting a good scoring spread. Rogers leads the Australian scorers with 7. Ronaldson on the bench at the moment with 5. 3-point shot from Fisher. Easy rebound there for Pipoka. Demetrius all the way to the hole and has been fouled. The foul, I think, will go against Fisher. We'll wait to see the referee's call. It is. It's the Puerto Rican referee calls the foul against Fisher. And timeout again. I don't think Coach Barry Barnes likes what he's seeing here. It's just this breakdown in the Australian offence. They've been held at the moment to 21 points after 14 minutes of basketball, and they've had opportunities to score. And opportunities that Barry Barnes can see from the sideline, but the players can't see from the floor. He wants to have a bit of a chat about that.
It's a difficult situation for the players because at times Brazil are playing what we call a bit of dummy defence. They'll be far enough off to encourage you to take the outside shot, but be close enough just to put some pressure on if you try and drive it. Here we see number 9 for Brazil, Demetrius, going to the basket, and
it looks like the foul from Fisher after the shot, and they're going to line up the free throw line. So no qualms about the foul from Fisher, but it seemed like well after the ball had left the player's hands. But they will go to the free throw line. It's only 3 team fouls apiece. But a chance here for Brazil to just put a little gap in the score. It's 25-21 they lead at the moment.
So I'm interested to see what adjustments offensively Australia make. They've held Brazil to 25, but we've only been able to match that with 21 points ourselves.
And the other thing that's just a little different in this game is Paul Rogers has played the first 14 minutes of the game. No attempt to use Chris Anstey yet. Rogers has done a particularly good job. So maybe Coach Barnes is rewarding him for the kind of start he's made and not ready to bring in Anstey just yet. So the Australians will come back with Fisher and McKinnon in the front court with Rogers, and Heel and Gaze maintaining their spots in the back court. Of course, neither of them have had a rest either. And Brazil have not made a change at all. Still got the lineup they started the game with. This man on the free throw line is Demetrius, and scores it to make that gap in the score. Demetrius Ferraccio, known throughout Brazil just as Demetrius, and it's a 6-point break. 27 plays 21, so problems right here for the Aussies. They need to score this time up the floor to just get back into the flow. It's Rogers popping out from the high post, trying to loosen up Gaze. McKinnon doesn't take on Pipoka. Inside they go to Rogers again, so it was McKinnon who made the penetration there to draw in the defence and find Rogers.
Australia changed the offence to their shuffle offence, as you can see the dump off, and Paul Rogers underneath. That's finishing it fairly emphatically, Phil.
Well, even if he is fouled, he's still going to make that shot because he had plenty of mustard on it. Shuey.
Here we see again, they isolate down low, and now we'll see no help. This is good stuff here. But a foul by Paul Rogers, a hand in just as he was about to spin to the hoop.
Foul from Rogers, but it will be an end-line ball. It's the second personal on Rogers, and I think Anstey will come in. Ronaldson is coming back. Have a look at it. Plenty of moves there, and it looks like even Fisher could have come in and got a piece of that. But Rogers goes to the bench with 9 points. and receives the plaudits of his teammates as Anstey gets his first minutes. Ronaldson back, and Anstey grabs the steal. Gaze looked like he got banged there. He did, and the referee is very late in the call, but it's got Demetrius for the call.
I think the referee was waiting to see if there was any real harm done, and obviously there was.
Sometimes wonder if his bone's been broken, just wait for the x-rays. Well, that's an offensive foul. The referee didn't like Tony Ronaldson's screen. There it is. And he didn't appear to be moving, but he hit with plenty of force.
I don't think he liked Tony's posture. I mean, to me it was quite a legal contact, but Tony was down. He had a good hip and shoulder there. Maybe the referee didn't like that, Phil.
5 team fouls against Australia, 4 against Brazil. 4.5 minutes out from half-time. Pipoca gets the shot up and in, and he's had a great first half. Pipoca, he has 10 points to lead all scorers. Now Gaze again, inside to Anstey, can't score it, but he will go to the free throw line. Anstey just perhaps with a little lack of weight and strength there to make that as a dunk. They weren't going to give Anstey the easy two. Brett Maher comes in and takes out Andrew Gaze. So Australia using the regular pattern. Gaze gets a break in the first half, and then no doubt that he's going to play all 20 minutes of the second half as long as he's not in some foul trouble. But Australia trail it by 6 again. Haven't had too much action at the free throw line. 1 from 2, or 1 of 1 for Rogers, and Anstey makes 1 of 2. So they've only had 3 free throws in the first half. And now Demetrius at the point. They go to Shuey, trying to open up Rogerio down low, but he's got McKinnon in his pocket. Gets the pass off to Josh Wells, might have travelled, got the left-hand hook up there, but Anstey just had enough size on him to put the shot off. Maher with his first touch in the game. Anstey looking for the dump on the inside, but it came off Brazilian hands. They've got a 4-on-3. Rogerio saw the numbers and bounces off the feet of Demetrius. So a break there for the Aussies.
Chris Anstey coming in defensively. He's done a good job on Joshua. He's intimidated his shot. He fronted him in the low post there before, playing in front of him instead of behind. And that's bogged down the Brazilian offence a little bit. See if we can capitalise down this end now.
Well, the other thing it's done is allowed him to play one-on-one against Josh Well and not open up Pipoca. Down the middle for Anstey, and he was fouled again. So they're not going to give him anything easy. Pipoca with the foul, and Anstey goes to the free throw line. Good adjustment again. There was a switch on the screen and roll. Chris Anstey went down the middle as we see the pass come in, and he was fouled by Pipoca on the free throw. That's a good adjustment if they continue to switch on all of our on-ball screens. You see the sub there, the first one for Brazil. They've made a double sub, as a matter of fact. Number 5, Rato, has come in. And in fact, they're not making that many subs because Rogerio, who went to the bench, has come back. But we're watching Anstey at the moment. Hits 2 of 2 off the free throw line, so that's pretty good from him. Rogerio went to the bench but has come back. So just the one sub. The man with the basketball is Rato. Pipoca. He'll be getting a little tired by now, but not too tired to find Rogerio underneath to appeal for the foul as well. So Brazil again out for that 5-point break. Maher, Anstey. Heel can't get rid of his man at the other side. Maher looking to penetrate and dump down low to Tony Ronaldson. They double down on him, opened up Maher at the top, taking his shot and can't quite score it. So Australia not taking advantage of the opportunities they've been given. Brazil gambling on defence, doubling down on Ronaldson, but Maher just not able to stick the shot. Was his first shot of the ball game though, and it's a very difficult one to make. Rato. Australia double him in the corner with Heel right in his face. They shifted on to Rogerio.
Comes the screen and roll again.
3 seconds left on the shot clock. They'll have to get it up there quick. They've got it right up. Did that count? Yes, it does. Gee, that was right on the end of the 30-second count. And it gives Brazil a 7-point lead. It must have been just off the fingers when the buzzer went. Ronaldson, 3-point shot from Brett Maher. Quick.
Inside, outside. Good look from Tony Ronaldson. Nice shot from Brett Maher.
First one was just a sighter from Ma. That one was the real one.
It was a big play right there, Phil. We needed to get back within touch here.
Ratto looking at on the inside and being hounded out there by Anstey. So the little man on the court has been hounded by the big guy. Joswell, the Ratto, into Pipoka on the turnaround against Ronaldson. Joswell, Ratto for three, and off the front of the rim, and a big rebound from Sam McKinnon. Quickly up the floor, try and create numbers. Ma gets it into Anstey and just can't make the layup. And Anstey, difficult to hold his feet. He's getting bumped around on the inside. Rogerio with McKinnon in his face. Now Pipoka shows the moves to Tony Ronaldson, but a quick shot that time from Brazil is something we haven't seen. Gives Australia the ball back. And they try to lob on the inside to Anstey, and Rogerio breaks it out of the backcourt. Shuey.
2 shots left in this half, Phil.
And Brazil will run the clock right down on this play. They've got 15 seconds left on the shot clock and give Australia just on 30. Rogerio, Ratto. Plenty of patience being shown here. The shot clock down to 5, as you can see, and Pipoka's shot that goes up and falls for the hands of Shane Heal. Now, a good 30 seconds here for Australia. No hurry from Heal to bring the ball up the floor. But they trail it by 4, so they will trail going into the dressing rooms at half-time. The only question right now is by how many. They've got the double high post with Anstey and Ronaldson. They will go right side to Ma. Now let's see them go to work. Ronaldson and Anstey stay out of it. Now Anstey makes his cut to the hoop. We've got a foul on the play. That's only the 7th team foul against Brazil. Probably a pretty good one to make at that stage.
It's a smart foul.
It slows the Australian offence up and gives them just on 7 seconds left to score. They'll have to get it in for a quick shot. But again, it's Ratto putting plenty of pressure on Heal, because they know Heal's probably going to be the one that's going to look for the 3. Here he is with the ball in his hands. And what do we got? We got the foul against Ratto, and he's put Heal on the free throw line.
So Brazil will get the last shot of the half, or the last field shot of the half.
Ratto was just too impatient there to try and stop Heal, gave him that little push in the midriff there.
Australia still has 2 fouls to give here before they're in penalty, so maybe we can see the ball come in and a couple of quick fouls to take out the half without Brazil getting a shot off.
So Heal scores it. 33 plays 31. Ratto all the way down the floor and gets the shot up and down it goes. That's not good play from the Australians. They should have stopped the ball carrier somewhere about half court. They didn't stop his momentum at all, and Brazil will take a 4-point lead to the halftime break. So Ratto, who made those 2 quick fouls, has made a very valuable contribution for his country right there. But we leave you for the moment from the Olympic Stadium in Athens with Brazil leading it at half-time, 35-31, as we watch that last play from Ratto.
Yes, 2 points right on the buzzer gives Brazil a 4-point break at half-time, and some disturbing signs, Tom and Ray, in that first half.
Some good signs as well. I thought Rogers was a super plus. I thought, the fast break was more of an opportunity for Australia, and I think there's some good signs there.
Ray, you disturbed by the deficit 4 points at half-time?
Yeah, certainly. With Shane Heal only contributing 4 points and Andrew Gaze scoreless in the first half, that's certainly something that we've got to address in the second half. As Tom said, Rogers has had a great first half. Chris Anstey come and contributed very well. Brett Maher pulling up for a 3. Scott Fisher again defensively stepped up, got a couple of baskets. So there's good ball movement within. It seems as though now that Brazil's playing that 3 out, on defence they're playing the triangle and 2, that Shane and Drury are really affected by that, but we're getting the ball inside, which is something we haven't done for a while.
Yep.
If somebody puts the ball on the floor, they'll crack that zone like an egg.
Right.
And obviously the 2 main handlers are Shane and Andrew, and they've been defended closely. So one of the other 3 guys needs to just take the driving lane straight down the guts of that zone, and there's not enough help in a 3-man zone.
Okay.
So that's how you beat it.
Okay. Tom, Ray, stay with us. We'll be back with more of that first half to discuss about it after the break. But first, another taste of Greece in a postcard from Andrew Orsatti.
The most well-known feature of Athens is a sacred rock known as the Acropolis. On top of it sits the city's emblem, the Parthenon, a Doric peristyle temple made of white Pentelic marble. As you ascend the Acropolis from the west, one of its first sites is the Temple of Athena Nike. The temple was built around 420 BC to commemorate the Athenians' victory over the Persians. It has been used both as an observation post and as a place of worship to the goddess of victory, Athena Nike. For many centuries, Acropolis was the city's most important religious center. The Parthenon, dedicated to the goddess Athena of Parthenos, is the earliest of the classical monuments. Construction began in 447 BC, taking 9 years to complete. It has been used as a church, a mosque, and the Turks employed it as an arsenal during the Venetian siege of 1687, a barrage of cannon fire leaving it as it stands today.